leads, but Carr is strong. He catches back up to him after having to fend off the 23. He's got a great run. He's going to look underneath. The 71 does not defend. They're going to go wheel to wheel into 3 and 4. Who is going to be able to get to the line first here? Down to the inside. He's going to get pinched. They're going to come together. They're going to come together. Is Tim Downey Jr. going to get this? He runs into him. Who is going to get to the finish first? It's Massey.
That is Deterk trying to go defensive. Wanmi says, all right, that's fine. I'm going to go to the outside. You see him taking the widest line into that corner possible, just keeping momentum up around the outside, not taking no for an answer, and by sheer force of will alone, that is Wanmi Costa up into the final podium position.
Off of turn 4, Valenteus looking for the launch. He gets it right up to the wall. He's got a good lot of speed. Is this enough speed, though? As they come to the line and getting ready to cross, he goes around the outside, but it's not enough. And it is going to be Togo Hisada taking the win. Vincent has got the bit between his teeth right now. He said enough of this back and forth and allowing him through. I want the spot back, and he's going to get to the inside. Down into Sayat. Can he complete the pass? Keeping up the momentum. Caven Norris is going to remain wheel-to-wheel down into Vert, but it's not really a too wide turn. They're going to make it one this time, and Norris gets it back around the outside. So this is the 48 car here off of turn 4. Watch this. Really has to catch it. Just trying to, I bet he didn't lift that whole way. I think his foot was on the throttle the whole time.
Probably just a little bit too far back, trying to make that run up on Evan. Evan goes to cover the grass.
Espes blocked to the grass, side by side, 2 by 2 for the race win. Now nearly 3 wide. Hyde's taking a peek.
We've got a double here. They're going 2 wide and 2 wide. Oh, following.
Carr leads, but Carr is strong. He catches back up to him after having to fend off the 23. He's got a great run. He's going to look underneath. The 71 does not defend. They're going to go wheel to wheel into 3 and 4. Who is going to be able to get to the line first here? Down to the inside. He's going to get pinched. They're going to come together. They're going to come together. Is Tim Downey Jr. going to get this? He runs into him. Who is going to get to the finish first? It's Massey.
That is Deterk trying to go defensive. Wanmi says, all right, that's fine. I'm going to go to the outside. You see him taking the widest line into that corner possible.
Interlagos has long been known for its Formula and GT heritage, featuring some of the most dynamic and exciting corners in motorsport. And today it hosts the open-wheel Buzzard and its stable of intense drivers. Will the circuit that hosts the Brazil GP make for an exciting finish today? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 10 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Adam Lindgren, and with me in the booth is Robert O'Brien. Behind the scenes is our director, Gary Sexton, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. One of the longest tracks of the season, Interlagos is known for its long, straight, and intense races. To find out what makes this place so unique, let's take you down to our track guide.
Welcome to Autodromo's Jose Carlos Pache. Most fans and drivers simply know this place as Interlagos. Starting life as an absolute behemoth of a circuit, this Brazilian track was eventually truncated to the version you see today. Having hosted Formula One for roughly 3 decades, it's become very well known on the international stage. But it has also held rounds in the World Endurance Championship, as well as frequently seen Brazilian stock cars, motorcycles, and even truck racing. There's little difference between its 2 layouts, which includes the GP course and the Moto course, which simply adds a chicane to the end of the lap. In both cases, it's a tale of 2 circuits. The run past the start-finish line and into the Senna S, followed by the blast towards the Descida do Lago, are very high-speed sections that come back-to-back. Drivers will need to focus on top end in order to attack or defend. Expect most passes to happen in those 2 corners. But from Ferradura until Junção, the track suddenly twists itself into a mess of hairpins and frustratingly technical turns. This can make car setup a real compromise, and for the latter part of the lap, an absolute pain when dealing with traffic. Pit exit is also a narrow affair, so it requires drivers to take care when trying to maximize their outlaps. On the upside, with this being a modern F1 track, there's paved runoff in abundance at many of the fast corners. The passion of the Brazilian fans always comes out in force at races, and it's no wonder with this picturesque track sandwiched right amongst the neighborhoods of Sao Paulo.
Genuinely one of my favorite tracks to drive in sim racing. Rob, why don't you tell us about how these Formula V cars are going to tackle Interlagos today?
Interlagos. Well, let me put it to you this way, Adam. It's going to be a bit of a hairy one. The Adromo Jose Carlos Pache, otherwise known as the track in one particular year. Ayrton Senna came and bet the odds, and with a broken gearbox, won finally here in front of millions of, well, potentially millions, hundreds of thousands at least, in the grandstands of adoring fans who kept screaming his name. And the Senna S is a tribute to one of the greatest drivers we'll ever see. But with these Formula Vs, the biggest things they'll have is the rundown to the Senna S's as that long, straight, and sort of the two weak left-handers sort of, provide a little bit of a turn. But for these guys, it's basically a straight. Then down into the Curva del Sol, and then into 4 and 5. Then up through 6 is going to be climbing the hill. We're going to see a few cars trying to, essentially struggle up the hill as they try to get around the track, then into the very technical section through the Essa and the Pinarino, then Bico de Pato, and onwards. That section 2 is going to be the most difficult for these cars. It's going to provide a unique challenge as they have to navigate 15 turns of the 2.6 mile or 4.3 kilometer track around Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Well, as we take a look at that, we do want to mention our sponsor, 42 Stitches. 42 Stitches offers custom embroidery and full color heat transfer. Put your logo on shirts, hats, jackets, and anything else you can imagine to promote your business or organization. They have also just recently expanded their capabilities into vinyl graphics. Put your company logo on your vehicles, create signage, or hand out stickers to potential customers, creating brand awareness. Check them out at 42stitches.com and let them put together a package especially for you. All right, Rob, why don't you talk to us about the Pro Championship we got going on today?
So, in the Pro Championship, Simon Meyer still leads Foreign Arabian, who did not participate last week. And where is he? He's in 4th position right now in the qualifying as it's going around. But the most important thing is he's on 127 points behind. This is not including the drop weeks they have. So, that between now and round 12 at Laguna Seca, they're going to be absolutely putting the pedal to the metal and trying to gain as many points between the two of them as they can. Neil Sinkowski in 3rd, leading Dudu Castro, who, he's had a great championship, but just hasn't had the best of luck. And then Rocco Horvath leading at the top 5. And that is the pros of the S1 standings coming into this round.
And then for the AMs, we got Jeremy Lewis, who overtook Johan Putanga last week. And then we got Frederique tucked in behind that a long ways back. So it really is between those top two, provided both of them are able to show up and collect, not getting too many more drop weeks coming into play. Then we got Ian Gibson tucked in behind Frederique, challenging him for that 3rd position. Only a measly, 47 points back. So good opportunity for him to make it up there. And then Flavio Andalo down in 5th position, only about 60 points back as well. So, Rob, what about the legends we got going on here?
So, in legends, Antonio Ruiz, he's my favorite. I may be slightly biased, but he's my favorite driver out of all of them. But he's not here, or at least I don't see him. Where is my boy Antonio Ruiz? He leads the championship with 553 points. At one stage, he was the lead of the overall championship, and I was rooting for him, but he hasn't participated in the last 3 races, and now it's coming into the 4th, and I'm so sad to see him not participate. Hopefully, wherever he is, he's doing well. Tom Gradwell in 2nd place, followed by Leroy Coppage, and Kenneth Battle will be there for 3rd in the Masters, and then Jeff Cantor rounding out the top 5 for Master standings.
Well, we got about 4 minutes left in qualifying, so let's talk about the race details for this race. This is round 10 for the Formula V Weekend Warriors. They got a 40-minute race today. They got limited fuel, which means they're going to be doing a pit stop. Pit entry at Interlagos, always exciting. I'm sure Rob will talk about that later. They also have open setups, so feel free to set up the car to your liking if you would like. And it looks like they also have one spare vehicle that they can use as well, so hopefully that will keep them from getting knocked out early if we see some action at turn 1, Rob.
Action at turn 1, it's let me put it this way. Action at turn 1 can be absolutely beyond anything you've ever seen before, and it's also going to be one of the most difficult corners as well, because we've seen it before in multiple cars around here. It may look like a simple left-hander, but it's a left-hander downhill, and it changes pitch as well. It's banked on the inside slightly, and it is a sweeping left-hander, then going immediately into a right-hander. You need to have both of them set up for the Curva de Sol. We're going around in the Formula Vs right now. I'm on board with one in particular, and he's coming down to turn 5. This is Nick Sigley in the car number 033, as he's doing his best to, well, navigate around. And the funniest thing is, if you want to know how small these cars are, look at the big, massive curves on either side of this track. You can practically fit a Formula V in them.
Absolutely, and definitely something worth talking about is how big these curbs generally don't phase most cars, but in the Formula V, it sure looks like these drivers can feel them as they go around here. Open qualifying for the Weekend Warriors Formula V series, and I always love a series that does open qualifying, especially for these slower classes, because the draft effect, even in something with no wings like the Formula V, can still affect lap times.
And with an affected lap time comes, a ricochet effect, especially in the first few laps, because these cars will be essentially bolted together end on end, because they're going to be, trying to, suck on that slipstream. As we can see, Sigley trying to use to his best advantage the slipstream that is provided by that purple car. Oh, Florence Arabian ahead of him there, trying to set another lap. By the way, Florence has actually gone down into 5th, and he will be on his last flying lap now as they cross the line, because the laps around here are 2 minutes, not 1, 2 minutes and starting. And we just crossed the line now. Nick Sigley going a little bit faster, not fast enough though. The gaps between the first 10 cars is less than a second. So, I mean, the competition is there, but the fact that it takes 30 seconds from the last major left-hander to the start-finish race, you can definitely see how slow it is to climb that.
Absolutely, Rob. I would love to see these cars tackle the Nürburgring Nordschleife. I'm sure they'd get about 2 laps in total over the course of the 40-minute race. But that would definitely be something interesting to watch. But Simon Meyer, right now at the top of the point standings, also at the top of the qualifying. He's already parked it. Avandro Dantes in 2nd place, still circulating, with Thor Tullo in 3rd, Jim Brewster 4th, and Florence Arabian still sitting in that 5th position. Has about 10 seconds left in qualifying to get something done here.
And also as well as which, because it is the last lap, it's the last lap for them to try and get the best position. Simon Meyer will be the person to look out for, because he'll have the best lift off of the start line, and he'll also have a gap of 3 other cars from himself to Arabian. Perfect for Simon, I would imagine, because, he needs as many points advantage as he has over Forens over these last few races. The drop weeks, they're still there. And they are ever present. And as well as which, if Florence Arabian does not secure more points than Simon Meyer on current standings, Simon would actually be the man to win, because Florence has 2 drop weeks already used. Simon technically only has 1 drop week used so far. So he's got an extra cushion. Florence does not. So he needs to be careful.
Well, here comes the purple pod of Forens coming across the line now. Let's see whether or not his time will improve. Crosses the line, and it does not look like it. So, unfortunately, Forens is going to be starting in that 5th position today. Still have a couple cars crossing the line right now. We have Nick Sigley, who we've been watching a little bit of, trying to cross the line, but he's actually going to pull it into the pits and do a pit practice. That was Evandro Dantes who just crossed. And then next up we have Ishan Gin, and as well as Johan Bettinga, who's crossing the line as well.
With the pits, by the way, as well, on this particular track, it's one of the very few tracks that basically you see the white line coming a long way back, and you can see the pit stops or the pit entry, as it were. For these guys, it's not going to be too much of a hassle, but it's still worth practicing because the actual entryway is quite a long one, and also the braking is uphill, so you do have a little bit of advantage being able to slow down when you can. But apart from that, it is going to be a bit of a nightmare if you haven't practiced it before, because if you don't practice and you guess, you could guess wrong and get yourself a stop and go, and I don't think anybody wants that around here.
So Flavio Andalo on his final lap, he's actually going to pull it into the pits as well. And then we have Michael Vucinic, who's still going around, just now coming through Bico de Pato through Mugello as well. And looks like Evandro Dantes still on track, so we're going to get the full 30 seconds left of this qualifying as we take a look at the 22 of Michael Vucinic.
Mikhail Vucinic coming around. It's also another thing as well. It's great that we have him parked on this track where he is. And I'm not saying that he's actually parked it. It's more so he's in the ballpark of the track where we were explaining before the race, and you need to be very careful. And as well as which, yeah, well, perfect. They're in the two drivers on track are in the two main areas of contention. Look at the normal line of angle is to go wide out. You have to be tucked in for this pit stop. And here, you need to be absolutely laser focused.
All right, so we're heading to the grid now with Simon Meyer on first position. We got Evandro Dantes starting off in second. In third place is going to be Thor Tulo, with fourth being Jim Brewster. And then fifth, Florence Arabian as well. So the warm-up going on right now for these drivers as they're kicking it off. Sixth place is going to go to Rocco Horvath, last week's winner. Then seventh place is Flavio Andala with Tim Gradwell in eighth, Nilsson Kowski in ninth, and Nick Sigley rounding out your top 10.
In 11th is Kevin F. Batley with Leroy Coppage in 12th, Jason Green in 13th, Paolo Gori in 14th with Michael Johnson 21. And 15th, I'm going to keep poking fun at him for being the 21st. Michael Johnson on the service. Jeremy Lewis in 16th position. Marco Trespidi in 17th. Soren Meyer in 18th. Johan Bettinga in 19th, correction. 20th goes to Isan Gin. 21st is going to be Luca Leone, Mikhail Vucinic. Then down from there is Kaj Hansen in 23rd. Jeff Cantor for 24th. Joe Marin 25th. Rogenbuck in 26th, 27th, Carl Burke, 28th is Jesus Rodriguez, and Lyndon Hughes in 29th. From last week, Adam, it's a lot busier on the track out there, and so that's going to be a lot. I'll provide a lot more excitement for the guys trying to get to do battles, but I think for the leaders, it's going to be providing a little bit more of a challenge when they come to lap.
Well, I mean, turn one is going to be exciting. Then we got to Cita del Lago, which is also going to be exciting, I think, a little bit here. Taking a look at the weather, look at that track temp, 104. So these Formula Vs are going to have a hard time getting what power the vehicle provides down onto the surface, I believe, around here, Rob. But talk to me about for those of the viewers who are new to watching this series, talk to me about the benefits of having this warm-up session.
The benefits is that you don't have to race to a time. You've already completed your lap times. It'd be great to get them pit stop practices in, and you'll have essentially two chances because the lap times is 2 minutes, and the warm up is 5 minutes. So here we go. We can see actually on board with one in particular coming into the pits, and I think that is a pro, judging by his numbers. And you can just see how quickly the pit stops come up at you, and try and provide a little bit of a nightmare for you if you don't get them right. You need to be essentially on the ball as quickly as possible, and he can go straight through. Perfect. Exactly what he needs to do. The uphill is going to be another problem as well, Adam, because the cars are pitched forward.
Yeah, exactly. So correct me if I'm wrong, but these drivers are practicing this pit entry probably more than many tracks because of the potential for that minute long of draft that they're going to get on the back straightaway and the Red Oposta.
And yeah, exactly. Because if you don't have a absolutely lightning fast entry, the amount of time you're going to be losing is basically going to hurt your chances, because everybody else is going to have about a minute of the slipstream. You're going to have about half of that, especially given the fact that the pit stops here or the pits for these cars anyway, is so long. Relatively speaking, the speed I think is 72, but I'd need to confirm that. It is 72. The pit speed is 72. So for these guys, it's going to be hitting that mark and staying there. They don't have any pit limiters. All they have is their right foot.
For clarity, 72 kilometers per hour. Don't freak out too much, Americans. It's not a ridiculously fast pit lane for these vehicles. The 72 would be about max speed for these vehicles on this track. 72 miles per hour, that is. So as we're watching, I believe this is Simon Meyer coming up the hill. As you said, this is going to be a little bit of an issue for these drivers, just because the car doesn't really want to pull that much up the hill.
Well, I mean, if there was ever a pipette joke to place, it would be for these engines. They are literally a pipette strapped onto the end of a very small monocoque engine or monocoque chassis, and all they have for aero. I'm struggling to see where to find the aero, but
the driver's head.
The driver's head, maybe, yes, but when I said pitch of the car, the rake of the car is what I was referring to, and there is a very little amount of slipstream not slipstream, but downforce that can be achieved through that. That's why a lot of drivers are doing the Red Bull style and pitching or having the rake quite high in these cars. That's the only way you're really going to be able to use ground effect, is how these guys get around.
Absolutely. So trying to get that tip of the nose as low to the ground as possible. There you see the behavior of the two cars. You can see just how low to the ground that nose gets on turn in to Descida del Lago. But here we go to our starting grid. This is going to be an exciting race for sure. Rob, what are your predictions going into turn one?
My number one prediction is going to be there's going to be a lot of holding the breath for turn one, and then just trying to survive around the rest of it. They're lining up, by the way, a very far way back. It is the traditional starting position for this pace car, just after the fifth turn, and it is uphill. So you're gonna have to be careful when they're setting off, because you can very easily, roll backwards if you don't put the gas in. So make sure that everybody, or for the Europeans, plant the accelerator to the floor, because that's essentially what they have to do when they're on the hill.
And I hear that for those drivers who are going full simulation mode and are not having that anti-stall clutch option ticked in their garage, that this thing can be pretty notorious to stall as well, because this uphill roll into Ferradura can, like you said, it can roll back on you. But fortunately, it looks like Simon Meyer's out going well. And each one of these has a wonderful GoPro hanging off the top roll hoop as well, that I know that our wonderful cameraman Dougie Beard has plugged us into, but also an interesting addition to this vehicle.
It's the only way that you're going to be able to find onboards for these kinds of cars, because it's a car that people can get into. People can race around in the real world. It's the start of the run of the ladder for many people into the real world of racing, because it's not overly expensive to buy these cars, and nor is it overly expensive to maintain these cars. I mean, unless you've had a big massive accident, then there might be some tears. But apart from that, these are great cars to get used to, and especially with the cameras so thoughtfully provided by Dougie Beard, we hope to bring you some angles.
All right, so Simon Meyer is going to lead the field through Juncao and now up Subidas dos Boxes, and they're going to be taking a look for that Porsche pace car to pull off to the left and dive into pit lane. At the point where it passes the tire barrier is when Simon Meyer will be allowed to launch the car in his silver bullet. So let's see how the start of this race goes. It's going to be Simon Meyer in that first position. Then we got Simon Meyer in the first position, Thor Tulo, then France Arabian. So let's see how the race starts here. As the pace car pulls off, they have launched. Simon Meyer has gotten going, and it's not a great start for the car. Second on the inside lane, starting to fall back just a little bit, but Simon's going to have a good run into turn one. Let's see how they do under braking for this challenging corner. Looks like Evandro Dantas is going to look to the outside. Simon's going to go to the racing line. Here they go, 3 wide into turn one.
You can just see in the background there, that was Florence Arabian almost getting drowned out by the amount of cars that there were present, because Rocco Horvath wanted to have a little bit of a look around. By the way, Paolo Gori, he's turned himself around. He's there getting going again. And right back at the front, you can see how quickly Simon Meyer just put the foot down and just started moving. He's trucking along there, and the top 3 has split away from everybody else behind, but Simon Meyer needs to be watching out. That purple car of Florence Arabian, the car number 6, is on his way backwards, or on his way forwards.
Absolutely. Florence Arabian just making it past Jim Brewster for that 4th position. Jim falling back to 5th position. Then it's Rocco Horvath who's going to make the move on Jim Brewster up the inside of Ferradura. Not a place most cars can make a pass, but these Formula Vs absolutely have the opportunity to do so. But that fall away coming over Lorenzina can make it really challenging for these drivers. But here we go, diving through Pinerino as they go down into what's usually compression, but it's just a nice little rise for these vehicles. Tom Gradwell falling backward. He actually gets collected, and now we have a car on its lid already in lap 1.
Oh, crikey, that is going to be a car upside down. That's going to be Marco Trespidi having an issue, Jeremy Lewis having issues, Nick Sigley having issues, Jesus Rodriguez also having issues. Plenty of cars are having issues. Oh, dearie me. That is, I did see a car going end over end, doing a bit of a barrel roll. Not what you want to see in these poor cars, because unfortunately, not like the modern Formula 1 counterparts, they do not have the halo. So it is braced for impact. If we go to the replay here, we're going to see just exactly what transpired. By the way, Michael Johnson did very well to avoid that. I think he was just seeing it taking place. Oop, and you can just see there, he's stuck on, and I think it was there. So I think,
absolutely. So yeah, it looked like it was Paolo Gori and Luca Leone who had their own issues there. And so as the events wrapped up, let's take a look at how each of these drivers got into that. And so just such a fascinating incident. But we should get back to the live racing, because it looks like Evandro Dantas and Thor Tulo have really started to put the pressure onto Simon Meyer. Now, what's interesting is that they're deciding to do a little bit of drafting, and as they're doing so, Florence Arabian has closed that gap back up to the leaders. The draft really starting to come into play now.
it's really not going to be Simon's day at all. And the worst thing is, Barnes Arabian has closed the gap in just essentially one lap. All that needed to happen was that one lap wonder, and then he got there. And when he got there, all he needs to do now is pass two other cars. And I don't think Thortola and Evandro Dantas would want to hold him up, because Barnes can make the move and make it with utter ruthlessness. Make sure that he gets past, make sure he makes that move. And oh, he's looking on the inside of Thortola right now.
Yeah, and that was a very interesting move there from Dantas to take a peek towards the inside of Simon. My guess is that most of these drivers are going to want to hang on until the exit of Junção to really start to wind up. So there you see Dantas falling back a little bit. Going to try and carry some speed through Junção. Here we go. Up the hill. Florence Arabian bump drafting Thortola a little bit behind these guys. And now they've got Rocco Horvath, last week's winner, coming up behind them as well to join the party.
Yeah, Rocco Horvath is pushing as hard as he can, because he has every right himself to start racing, and I don't think he would want to allow Florence Arabian to continue his push and wants to get his place back. But what's happening is that is going to be almost 4 wide. It's going to be 3 wide with Florence Arabian going up through the middle. Evandro Dantas and Simon Meyer absolutely unable to do anything. That is Florence Arabian through the middle, absolutely smashing his way into first place. What a move, and what such bravery coming around the center S's. And what's more, Simon Meyer under threat from Thortola.
Absolutely. Thortola falling back to the 4th position, now putting some pressure on Simon Meyer. But here comes Rocco Horvath down up the inside as well. He's going to try and make this move work. Is he going to try and late break Simon Meyer? No, Simon covers him off going into Desida del Lago. But for Florence Arabian, that was 5th to 1st in one lap, 4th to 1st in one straightaway. That's the potential of these cars around here.
and it is absolutely bananas right at this moment in time. Absolutely bananas. Nothing that I've seen to even warn us prepare us that Forens was really sort of on the raggedy edge of pushing that car really to the raggedy edge, but he's done it up into first and making sure he has the advantage where it came. By the way, he actually did set the fastest lap. The first 159 we've seen so far, 159.743. That's how great the slipstream is around here.
This is the battle for 14th place, with Niels Senkovic making a great run up towards the front of the field, or up towards the front of this pack, rather. Then we got Jeff Cantor and Michael Vucinic really fighting each other right now as they go through the corner. Michael making the pass, with Jeff Cantor not really able to do anything. He's trying to fight back. Here we go, riding on board with Jeff.
And then we look at Niels Senkowski looking toward the car of... Correction, that's not going to be Niels. Niels is actually a little bit ahead, but this is what Senkowski does not want to see.
We gotta go back to the lead of the race, because it's very close between Dantes, Meyer, and Rocco Horvath. Horvath trying to make his move, and here comes Thorotullo as well. They're almost going to be 3 wide again as they go into turn 1, but that looks like Rocco's going to back it off and get in line with these guys. Simon Meyer just falling backward now, Robbo.
Yeah, it is going to be absolutely Simon Meyer's race to lose. He does not need this. He does not need the pressure behind. Rocco Horvath can race him all he wants. It is absolutely 100% legal. I mean, it is racing after all. You gotta race. But for poor Simon Meyer, he just needs absolutely no distractions, absolutely nothing going on in front, behind him. He just needs to be in the right place for the best speed that he can put it. But Evan Drodantas looking to threaten Forens Arabian, because now Forens is under the hot seat. He's got no slipstream. He'll have hills to climb and hills to beat, but with the cars behind him, they'll have the slipstream to aid them most definitely. We can see there as they come into the right-hander, that is Simon Meyer closing the gap. By the way, another position gain for Michael Johnson. It's up into 7th now, just passing Flavio Andola. He's trying to rejoin the front of this pack as well. He's actually gunning it quite hard right now.
Absolutely. We've got 2 packs going right now. We got 1st to 6th with his Forens Arabian all the way back to Jim Brewster. Then it's Michael Johnson down to Kenneth Bailey in 11th position. So 7th to 11th is another crew we've got going on right now. We're taking a look at that particular battle. That particular pack led by Flavio Andalo in the 7th position, that 415. These are all, that's Michael Johnson who's leading this pack. And aside from Michael Johnson, we got Michael Johnson, who's a S1 driver. We got Flavio, who's a S2 driver. And then it's Leroy Kopech and Tom Grodwell and Kenneth Bailey, who are all S3 drivers. So a mixed class battle here.
Yeah, the lead master, by the way, is actually the back of the next group ahead of them. So they would want to actually get to that. But it's 4 seconds in climbing because, they're all on their own at this moment. It's sort of like pack racing in NASCAR. You kind of have to make sure that you're all clued in. By the way, Flavio Andola, oh my crikey, this is just a melee right now. Going up on ahead of him, then it's going to be Evan Drodantas trying to threaten Forens Arabian, but then getting threatened by Simon Meyer himself. Absolutely melee action right at the moment. By the way, Flavio Andola, that attack did not work for him and actually sent him all the way back. He made a mistake going in turn 1. Sent him all the way back to 11th. Michael Johnson losing a place to Leroy Kopech. He'll get that back. But again, look at the melee that's going on right now. Everybody's sort of getting themselves set up. Simon Meyer on the inside of Van Drodantas coming into turn 4.
Oh, contact! And that's Dantes off. Avantro Dantes going off track. Fortunately, it looked like just wheel-to-wheel contact. He should be able to keep going with minimal damage, but hopefully he doesn't drop off the back of this pack too much. Let's take a look at that replay.
You just see there, that is going to be Simon Meyer on the right-hand side of your screen, and in the center is going to be that yellow car. He's going to feel that in the morning. He's going to feel that. I think the onboard will actually explain it a little bit better, because just the sheer amount of wheel that he touched, and you can just see there on the inside, he turns in, and he doesn't get hit from behind. He just gets hit from the side. They did touch wheels quite harshly, and it bounced him quite. Here we go on the front end. And you can just see there the markers. They need to ignore these because it's just like, well, they're going so slow anyway.
Yeah, that would definitely be helmet on the rim of the cage right there for those drivers. Not a lot of the drivers in this level of series can necessarily afford a Hans device, so that's going to be a big shakeup in the bin. Unfortunately, still going, but he has fallen off the back of Jim Brewster by 2 seconds.
And it now goes from 6 to 5. By the way, Jim Brewster will be the one sort of watch out for. He can upset the upper car if he wanted to. Well, I mean, unless Rocco Horvath decides to do the exact same thing. By the way, that is going to be almost 2 wide, 3 wide there. That is Simon Meyer. The Empire strikes back around turn 1 once again. But on the inside, it's just so much of a faster line. You know, Simon's just trying to pass on a line that is not going to bear fruit.
Yeah, and it's also not getting him a lot of speed down through the Senna S for the Curva del Sol, I'm noticing either, Rob. So very interesting there. But here comes the speed down the Reta Oposta. And Florence Arabian, honestly, just a sitting duck right now. Let's see whether or not Simon Meyer can really make a good braking here. He's going to brake a little later. Florence tries to come back at him, but this is going to open him up to Rocco Horvath, who goes up the inside. And now they got Jim Brewster tucked in behind them. All this battling has definitely left Evandro Dantes behind. I think Evandro probably has a little bit of toe damage that's slowing him down on the straightaways, but Foran's getting absolutely mugged right now.
And just be careful, because as the Empire has struck back...
Oh, we've had a big wreck in the back between, I believe that is Jesus Rodriguez, and that was Ishan Gin.
Yeah. Oh, just looking at it now, I just wanted to see. That is
Rodriguez.
Jesus.
Major contact.
Let's have a look. And coming down and into turn 4. The same turn that we had before. Now, oh! Yeah, that is one.
So here they come. Yeah, here they come. You're going to see it right now. Coming into the corner, and just 3 into 1 just did not go that time around, and that's Jesus going around.
He did pull it off quite quickly. He pulled it off the racing line and did that, so kudos to him. But yeah, he's lost now, and he's now down into 23rd, and that has put a stopper to his race. So he needs to also be careful of the suspension as well. That was quite a big hit. Back to the lead, by the way. Guess who's striking back? It's Rocco Horvath.
Whoa! Or not. Rocco decides to go to the pits. Very late call from Rocco Horvath to hit the pit lane. And as he does so, it's still a battle for the lead of the race, with Simon and Forens going at it. Simon's going to take the inside this time. Forens is going to try and get a good run out of the Senna S, but can't quite do so. Thortolo with a great run. Is he going to go to the outside? He's going to stay tucked in behind Forens. And so we've got a couple of another taker in the pits is Kenneth Bailey, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to have an opportunity going down to the Cito del Lago this time.
Lawrence Arabian gunning it now, trying to make sure that he can overtake, with Jim Brewster behind, almost overtaking Thortolo, but doesn't make it happen. By the way, Leroy Coppage now passes Michael Johnson for 7th. Sticking here, by the way, with the side-by-side. That's Jim Brewster looking to attack the red and a green wheeled machine, passing the car number 227 of Thortolo. And by the way, Leroy Coppage, it's all gone wrong.
Yeah, Coppage is around.
No.
Yeah, this is an interesting moment, because this is on the exit of the Cito del Lago, actually. Not a place where we usually see contact.
Oh, yeah, he got
there was
right the way around.
Absolutely. So Robbo just taking a look off screen to try and catch a view of that particular incident. But man, that was a big one. But here we go once again. Florence Arabia tucked in right behind Simon. He's going to break a little early to try and get a good run out of Junkao, and it works out for him. He's got a decent run up the hill. But the question is anybody else going to pit, since Rocco Horvath just did? Is someone going to try and cover him off?
Rocco Horvath will definitely have the best prime right now. He has clean-ish air. He just needs to pass one car, and that's Pelagori. But as far as Arabian still on that outside, that's Simon Meyer. Does anybody come into the pits? That's going to be, yes, Simon Meyer is covering him off.
So Simon Meyer, feeling the threat from last week's winner of Rocco Horvath, comes into the pits. Now the all eyes will be on Rocco to see whether or not he's able to pass Simon. He did get held up a little bit by traffic, but he's got Paolo Gori to draft with.
Rocco Horvath spent 12 seconds in the pits. That is the ballpark that Simon needs to beat or match. He beats him by 3 seconds. No, Simon did do it. He's 3 seconds faster.
Oh my goodness, 3 seconds faster on the fuel stop. This is going to put him out right ahead of Rocco by about 3 seconds. So that worked out.
There he is. Look on the inside there. He'll pop out. There he is. Just at a little dot on your screens. That's 2 seconds ahead of Rocco Horvath. Rocco Horvath had a second closed in, but that second, and what's even worse, Paolo Gori is definitely not providing any favors. Paolo Gori overtaking Rocco Horvath, but Rocco Horvath fighting back.
Horvath saying, "No, dude, I'm having my own battle here. Leave me alone."
And yeah, well, I mean, he's trying to do his best, essentially trying to close off what resistance he sees, and trying to, in other words, he's just trying to, do his own race and not be usurped, as it were, by anybody else around him, and just try and do what he can, or what he feels he can do, to secure a position, secure something, secure anything at this point, and try and, win this race either by pushing the 2 seconds to close the gap, or hoping that one of these three ahead of him continue staying out and continue pushing faster laps than Simon Meyer is.
Interestingly enough, none of these three come into the pits. Now, granted, we got 24 minutes to go, so it's a long way to go for these drivers, but nobody else is going to cover off Simon Meyer and Rocco Horvath, who are now nose to tail, about 2 seconds separated from each other. Rocco Horvath cannot get away from Paolo Gori. So there you see Rocco being challenged by Paolo. I bet he's just praying that Paolo would just fall in behind him, but it looks like the three leaders, oh my goodness, 3 wide tucked in behind them. That was Jeff Cantor, Ishan Gin, and Soren Meyer. Paolo Gori's off.
Oh, Paolo Gori is gone around.
Contact.
Ooh.
It was contact with Rocco Horvath, last week's winner.
Rocco Horvath on the inside there. Paolo Gori on the outside. Oh, and Paolo Gori just coming in on the inside. And that was quite a large hit there from the two of them. And it's definitely not going to be giving his car any happiness to know that he's just now whacked the side of another car. And by the way, while we were watching that, Michael Johnson is now part of the top 5 as he's overtaken Tom Gradwell, and Neil Sankowski is on his way back up through the field. He's gained 17 positions, well, according to this anyway, and is now up into 8th position. He's got 6 seconds to catch to Flavio Andolo, but on his current pace, it looks like he is closing the gap ever so slightly.
Taking a look at yet another battle going on track right now. This is between Sankowski, Kopech, and Batenga, as you said. So these three drivers, we're seeing a lot of battles turning into 3-way fights now. And it used to be packs of 5 or 6. Now it's packs of 3, as we have most drivers yet to do their pit stops. Simon Meyer was the first driver to take a pit stop on pace. So very interesting decision there. But now we see Kopech really putting some pressure on Sankowski. Oh, and Thor Tullo's in.
Thor Tullo obviously not wanting to, be stuck in sort of a bit of a weird position, I think, for him. And just get himself into pits, get himself into a better, position to start fighting. Maybe, trying to figure out another way forward and then go from there. By the way, he has already been passed by Rocco Horvath, Simon Meyer,
and he's in for a long time. 18 seconds in the box for Thor.
Might have accidentally ticked some tires. That is what might have happened. And if that has happened, oh dear. Oh, he's going to be kicking himself because he will be dropping back a few positions on the grid. He'll be under threat from the likes of Evandro Dantas and Michael Johnson, actually, which still threaten him by being ahead of him when he comes out of the pits. More people pitting in, by the way. That's Paolo Gori in the pits as well.
Oh. And Jason Green looks like he's had his own incident. This was a spin. Yeah, this was his own spin out of Interlagos, so he's back recovered. Getting passed now by a nice mob of cars. That's Mikhail Vucinic, who's being chased by Soren Meyer, Ishan Gin, and Jeff Cantor. All these drivers have had their own incidents so far, so now they're in a pack together and fighting for the 12th place.
As well as which, now is the time for them to be worrying. And the reason why I say that is because the more they stay out and keep putting in the similar lap times, because right now they are putting in similar lap times comparative to the likes of Meyer and Horvath is actually starting to slightly close that gap that he's lost. These guys will be fighting each other, and look at Jim Brewster. Look how close Jim Brewster is. He definitely wants that P1. He smells victory here, and he wants it. But if he continues fighting, by the way, Evandro Dantas in the pits. Sorry, I fludged his name there.
Dantas in the pits from P3. Remember, he had that moment, shall we say, earlier on. So he's taking a pit stop to try and improve his position. So Jim Brewster definitely benefiting from the fuel saving tucked in behind Arabian, but they have to be careful, though, Robbo, because I've just noticed something on the timing and scoring sheets. The gap between Arabian and Brewster down to Meyer is 19.7 seconds. Delta through pit lane for our fastest drivers is 26.3 seconds. So
yep, and that is the crucial point. These two have been fighting. Simon Meyer, he doesn't have to worry about anything. He's essentially on his own on the track, and his basic.
That's just it, Robbo, is that these two have not been fighting. Jim Brewster's just been hanging out behind Arabian, but they haven't been doing any slingshotting, so they might not actually be going faster. They may think to themselves that they have the strategy and the gap to pull over Simon and Rocco, but it's not working out for them right now.
It's not working out for them because Florence Arabian Jim Brewster is not wanting to get ahead, because if he gets ahead, he's going to be under immediate attack from Florence. And what's even worse is the fact that two of them, Florence has to cover off from any potential advance. They could sort something out and be like, hey, Jim, we're in different classes, but let's help each other. Get ahead of these guys. But Jim Brewster has to do his own race, and if he feels like he's entitled to have his own race, absolutely.
And now looking back at the battle for P12, Jeff Cantor, actually P11, actually. We have Mikhail Vucinic currently leading that group. This goes all the way back to Soren Meyer back in 16th position. So there we see the battle for 11th, the graphic showing up right there. These drivers all very tight together. And only one of them has taken a pit stop. That's Thor Tullo with that 18-second stop has fallen all the way back into this group of 14, now trying to make a move on Ishan Gin.
Ishan Gin doing his best to try and cover off where he can. Johan Batenga passing Nielsen Kowski. It's all popping off here. Mikhail Vucinic attempting to hold off everybody else around him because it just turns into a melee. By the way, that's on the inside. That is a lapped car, actually, I think. Going on the... No, it is not a lapped car. That's Thor Tulla on the inside.
Actually, I believe that was Isan Gin who took the inside, Thor Tulla on the outside. He's going to do a swap over now, and so is Cantor on Vucinic. So very interesting there for those drivers.
And it's just side by side. I think this season has just been about gloves off.
And that was a spin from Jason Green right in front of Soren Meyer, and Meyer able to avoid it. That was very close stuff between the two drivers.
It's what's bad about being in traffic. If you see traffic and it so happens that traffic has a bit of a spin.
Ooh, that looked like contact actually into the corner. Possible contact between the two of them.
Having to hold it still, but that was a bit of a scare. Oh dear.
Pulling it off track at just the right moment. Gonna ride on board, see what this felt like. Yeah, that was definitely contact.
That was contact. Yeah, you don't get that kind of shunt in the car unless you've hit something, and it's not from the road. The Interlagos circuit is actually quite a nice track to drive in terms of flatness. It's actually quite a smooth track, but that was definitely contact there on this inside, and with the way the car is set up, if the wheels aren't planted into the road, and if anything is done to upset the car in terms of sudden shifts in the weight of the car, it will actually just launch the car left, and it will actually upset the car in a big way.
Johan Batenga spun it on turn 1. This was a self spin as he was battling with Senkowski, and he was in a very dangerous position for a couple of seconds as he tried to back it back onto track.
Yeah. Don't hit the nose. Whatever you do, don't hit the nose. Just back it out very, very shallowly into the corner and then get yourself back around. But yeah, he took too much curbing. The car got upset. And with these cars, basically, as soon as you start sliding, that's it. You're done. The car just becomes an unrecoverable missile.
So, Robbo, interesting thing I'm thinking about. Jim Brewster probably is going to save some time in the pit stop for taking less fuel. And so will Florence Arabian. But can they make up a 6-second difference in that pit stop just with a shorter fuel stop alone?
No, not with the way that Simon Meyer is pushing his car. He just did a 1:59, by the way, and that was under his own steam. So he's actually pushing that car hella, and when I say that, it really is him pushing that car. He is doing every trick in the book, every corner, every hundredth of a second that he can shave, he's shaving off.
It's funny. It's funny to think about, Rob, that you can do that in a car with this little power and this little control capabilities, but Simon is really showing that regardless of what you drive, you can absolutely shave, milliseconds off of it. His last lap was half a second faster than our leaders. This man is on a tear, as you've said.
Yeah, he was posted a time that was similar in length to... Oh, correction. No, it wasn't. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong driver. Yeah, again, another half a second. He is absolutely blitzing it right now. He just isn't letting it go.
And Batenga just had another bad moment through turn 1. This was off of the wheel, the right rear wheel of Avantro Dantes. Dantes absolutely taking no prisoners in that pass. Let's take a look at it.
Gonna be then first turn. That is going to be very close indeed, and a very wide on the outside of turn 1 coming into it. That is going to be the car 664 of Johan Batenga coming around very wide, then tries to correct it coming back in and just loses a lot of time. Yes, keep it nice and handy coming back around. Yeah, that slow exit out of turn 1 really is what killed him through that first set of 3 corners, because if you don't have the speed going into turn 1, it actually multiplies for these kinds of cars coming out onto the third turn, because just how slow they are on the acceleration and how little speed, how low the speed ceiling is for these cars. It's about 100 miles an hour before it really becomes impossible to gain any more speed. And without slipstream, he's not going to be a happy camper. And I really do think Jim Brewster is going to be the ace in the hole for this one. Look at him. He's following Florence Arabian into the pits.
Here we go. Contact going into the pit lane. Contact with the nose from Jim Brewster on Florence Arabian. Did that push Arabian fast? Has that damaged Brewster's nose? And will Simon Meyer be able to make it by? Let's find out. We're going to find out in a couple of seconds here. Jim Brewster missed his pit box. He didn't realize that he was pitting ahead of Florence. So here we go. Meyer now going through turn 1. These guys just got onto the box. That's Florence who's off. So Florence is going to be quite a ways back as Simon now picks up the provisional lead of the race because none of the drivers ahead of him have pit.
Yep. Simon Meyer laughing his way to victory right now. 1.2 seconds ahead of Florence Arabian, and that will be climbing ever so slightly down to up to 1.3 as he comes by into turn 4. That is going to be soul crushing there for Florence, because he would have thought that he would have had the faster lap. With the issue that he had, I think in the pits, I think that would have set him up. But I think even without that, it was still a very, very unfortunate thing for him, and now he has to do the work all over again.
Well, Florence absolutely within draft range of Senkowski, who's tucked in behind Meyer. So this race is not over yet. If Arabian can close that gap, and we know that Arabian is very, very quick when he's got a challenge up ahead of him. I mean, like when he's got a target that he's focused on, the man can close. So let's see whether or not he's able to get up there and battle Meyer in the closing 10 minutes of this race, crossing the 10-minute mark now. Going to be very interesting to see who wins this thing, because remember, Senkowski still has yet to pit. If he pits this time around, that's going to hang Arabian out to dry. He has to hope that Senkowski is going to stay out this one more lap, but it looks like this will be Senkowski's time into the pits, because pretty much everyone else has taken a pit stop. So let's see what happens here with Senkowski coming towards the pit lane. Senkowski is going to take the left turn, so this is going to be not so much of a benefit to Arabian. He's going to have to catch Meyer on his own pace.
And with that as well, by the way, Nielsen Kowski, Tom Gardwell in the pits, but it really is Forens' race to lose now at this point. He is now behind. He should be ahead, and he needs to be ahead, needs to absolutely put in the fastest laps that he can. By the way, remember, the cone to cone for Forens was 26 flash. Cone to cone for Meyer was 26.4. So he had 4/10 up on him on Simon Meyer did Forens, but even then, still the second behind. That is that's not what you want to see in the morning.
Not at all, but he has managed to close 2/10 over the last lap, so he is going a little bit quicker right now. If you're wondering where the rest of the players are who were in this battle, Jim Brewster is about 4 seconds behind. He had 2.5 seconds slower on pit lane than Arabian. Then we have Rocco Horvath, who is another second slower than Jim Brewster on pit lane. So he's chucked in right behind Jim Brewster at this moment. So there we see those two drivers, Jim Brewster and Rocco Horvath, nose to tail. And then we got Avantro Dantas, who just could not recover from that moment he had going through the Descida del Lago. And he's back in 6th position, 7 seconds behind Horvath.
Horvath having to still try and catch and pick up the pieces of what he can. Michael Johnson, by the way, we did mention him coming into the pits at the end of his pit window for these guys when Arabian and Brewster came into the pits. He actually had quite a slow pit stop. It was 14.2 seconds in the box itself, putting him actually down into 9th. So he will be facing off with Tom Gradwell and Neil Sinkowski with the quickest pit stop with 7.6 seconds in the box, 24 cone to cone, is now trying to catch up to Evandro Dantas, or just hold position. He'll be getting 6th as Flavio Andello takes the pits.
And look at this. Arabian has caught Meyer. Here we go. The battle is on for these two drivers. The draft just in effect just enough for Florence Arabian to be able to catch Simon Meyer. So let's see what happens here over the course of these next 7 minutes with 2-minute lap times. They've got about 3 or 4 to go from this 4 to go from this point on.
Coming through, it is going to be Florence Arabian, who needs to pass, make the pass happen, and then run away with it as quickly as he possibly can, and just hope and pray that something happens, something that he can do it works, because if he does not make the move quickly and effectively, he'll have 6 minutes of trying to pass Simon Meyer. Simon Meyer being able to learn where foreigners will try and make the moves, and then just, hold off as best he can. And it will be Forens' route today, because if he, as I said, through these technical sections, Simon Meyer just is able to eke out a bit more of a gap.
It's important to note, Robbo, we've been watching all of these battles happen. When it comes to a pass on the front straightaway from Zhengkao to turn 1, no car has been able to get that pass done alone before they reach the start-finish line from the exit of Zhengkao. So it's entirely possible that the person who leads off of Zhengkao on the final lap will win this race. Taking a look once again at 1 and 2, let's see if Florence Arabian decides to try a move here and try to see whether or not he can get it done. Look at how wide he's going now. This is an interesting idea. Do you understand what his strategy might be, Robbo?
Hold as best he can, push Meyer to the limit. Maybe try and... Oh, no, well, there he goes.
Diving deep into turn one, he tried to show Meyer that he wasn't going to make the move, and then makes it at the last minute. But can he carry enough speed through Curva do Sol? Here we go with Meyer with a decent amount of overspeed on Arabian. A good shift from both drivers, and Arabian starting to pull away a little bit. Meyer looks like he might have backed off a touch on this straightaway. Is he short on fuel?
I'm not sure. Well, I wouldn't. If anybody was short on fuel, I would have said it would be Farns, because Farns is the one that spent 0.6 less in the pits, which is about 500 mils extra less of fuel. So Simon Meyer has got a lot more to play around with. But as long as Farns can hold off on the straights and just put the car in the best possible defensive position, he should be.
Oh, we've had a big wreck. That was Nils Sinkowski and I believe Michael Johnson. Yes, both of them. Nils got absolutely speared.
Oh, yeah, and poor Michael Johnson had nowhere to go. Oh, dearie me.
So here we go, taking a look at the replay. We're going to see Nils go on his own little spin here, and Michael Johnson gets a little bit of target fixation. So here's Nils' spin. He's going to spin in the middle of the track.
And bang. Oh, there goes a few wheels. Oh.
Yeah, that would definitely puncture the tub that time around. That was a high-speed incident from these two drivers. Let's take a look. This is from Sinkowski's perspective. Oh my goodness.
Ow. I think that's all that needs to be said. Ow.
Well, coming to 2 to go for our leaders. Simon Meyer not interested in making a pass on Arabian this time around. I am pretty sure he's fuel saving, Rabo.
But who? I mean, Simon Meyer shouldn't be the one that's fuel saving. He is, then there really needs to be a question said about it, because Farns Arabian was pushing quite hard against Jim Brewster, and Jim Brewster was not ahead of him.
Remember, Meyer was leading pits, and he has been out there for 11 laps, and his pit stop was only 0.6 slower than Arabian's. So even though these cars don't burn that much fuel, is 0.6 really enough to get you an extra 5 laps of fuel?
I don't know. It's complicated, because I can see Simon Meyer, he's actually pushing, but if he's holding back intentionally, trying and get him on the last lap. But will he get him across the line on the last lap? That is the question. It's hard to judge, because you have to sit your mind in the driver himself and see, oh, will he do this? Will he do that? What will he do here? What will he do here? Simon Meyer plays his cards close to his chest, and then, because he knows what Farns Arabian is capable of doing, Farns can send it on the last lap and absolutely go bananas.
So approaching the final turn for the penultimate time, Arabian and Meyer both tucked in behind one another. Arabian's going to lead them to the line this time around. Meyer's quite a way back. Let's see. It's going to be Arabian leading over the white flag. Now, remember what I said, that we have not seen someone be able to execute a pass on the last lap. Here comes Meyer looking to the outside. Is he going to be able to sneak by? Does he lead that time around? He does not. So Meyer has to outbrake Arabian into this corner. Arabian deep onto the brakes into turn one. He's going to go a little bit deep through the corner. Manages to hang on to it and carry some decent speed out, though. So Meyer's attempt that time around did not work out.
Meyer is now going to be panicking. This is white flag for these guys. And the fact that the move did not work. And
he goes around the outside. Interlagos, is he going to try and outbreak it? He is. Can he hold it on the outside? Arabian tries to send it deep. They both go out to the rumble strips. Meyer cannot make it by this time around. This is some tense stuff, Rabo.
Come on, Simon, you need to hold it together. He needs to pass him on the inside somewhere. He's looking quite hard. All that holding back, all that pondering. Should he have not? Should he have? He should have. He should have made the move stick quite hard. and it just hasn't happened. And on the technical sections, the defender will have the distinct advantage over the attacker. Florence Arabian will have the distinct advantage over Simon Meyer, who will try his darndest to get past, but it won't work, especially coming up towards the fearsome hill.
It's going to be, he's going to have to make it work where nobody has today. He's going to have to try and make the pass out of Junkao through the Subidos dust boxes and then across the start-finish line. He's close, but he loses some speed on the turn into Junkao, but Arabian goes wide. It's going to be very close. It's going to be a draft pass that's going to be required from Meyer. Here we go, coming to the line. Which side will Arabian take? Surely he'll keep on the inside. Can Meyer get to the inside? Arabian goes to the outside. He's trying to break the draft from Meyer. Meyer's going to look to the inside, cut it as close as he possibly can. He's got the gap. He's got a nose ahead. Meyer's going to make the pass on the closing lap off of Junkao and takes the win.
Simon Meyer left it to the end, but he managed to do it. Rocco Horvath, by the way, under attack from Jim Brewster, but holds off ever so slightly. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. That was close for Rocco Horvath. He did not want to have Jim Brewster overtake him on the last podium box. By the way, Thor Tulla trying to do the same thing. Thor Tulla is going to go up into the 6th position against Flavio Dolo and Kenneth Batley, also doing the exact same thing.
Oh, and we've had a spin from Jesus Rodriguez on the final exit of Junkao. He's going to lose out to Paulo Gori. So fortunately for Gori, he's able to come home in the 14th position. Very close racing from all of these drivers. Jeff Cantor can't make the pass on Isan Gin, I don't believe, coming to the line. This is for 15th position. Cantor trying to get the speed. He's going to look to the outside. Is it too little, too late? It's going to be really close as they cross the line. It's going to be Cantor who gets it off of Junkao. And then behind them, nearly 3 wide coming across the line, that's going to be Soren Meyer, who crosses the line ahead of Luca Liani, and Jesus Rodriguez recovering from his spin. What a finish, Robbo.
I've never seen 2x2s going like that before.
Well, that is an exciting finish for sure, but don't go anywhere. We will be back with the unofficial results as well as some driver interviews for you here on the GSRC for the Weekend Warriors Formula V Round 10. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this. race here at Interlagos, round 10, and what an exciting race we had. We had pit strategy, we had on-race action, we had draft trains, we had the works. And coming home with the win today on a last lap pass coming to the line was Simon Meyer. A fantastic drive for him for sure. Florence Arabian coming home in second place, just couldn't quite get it done after diving to the outside, coming up the hill through Sabitos boxes. And we got Rocco Horvath, who was able to poach Jim Brewster for that third position. Jim coming home in fourth. Avantra Dantes tucked into a nice little gap on his own, down in fifth position. Thortullo able to pull just a little ahead of Flavio Andalo, coming to the line as well for sixth. Flavio coming in seventh place. Then we have Kenneth Batley coming home in the eighth position. Tom Gradwell in ninth, and Leroy Kopech coming home in 10th.
In 11th is going to be Jeremy Lewis, and ahead of Johan Bottega in 12th. Mikhail Vichunik in 13th, Paolo Gori in 14th, Jeff Cantor 15th, Isan Gin in 16th, Soren Meyer in 17th, Luca Leone 18th, Jesus Rodriguez. It's not been his day. He had several spins and ended down in 19th, Jason Green in 20th. Then in 21st, it's Alexander Rogenbuck. In 22nd, Niels Sinkowski. He managed to get back out there using his fast repair to get back out on track. Cash Hansen in 23rd, Marco Trespidi 24th, Kyle Burke in 25th, and that was the last car on the lead lap. Then we have Michael Johnson, who retired the car after suffering critical damage. Joe Marant retired the car. Nick Sigley in 28th retired the car, and then finally Lyndon Hughes did not take to the grid.
Well, fantastic race for sure. Lots of excitement. And we're going to talk to our winner today, Simon Meyer. And fantastic job from Simon, absolutely, to win this race today, getting some good pit strategy going as well. And just some fantastic driving from all the drivers out there. Good battles across the grid for sure for these drivers. So we're going to take a look at Simon. And Simon, fantastic drive today. Great job. I mean, a very, very intense drive. But what was it that led you to take that early pit stop?
Hi, guys.
Oh, there you go.
Do you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, nice. Good. Thanks for having me, first of all. Yeah, like you say, intense race, really. The start was, the first few laps were really, everyone was going for it. So I bottled it basically and decided to take an early pit stop and get out the firing line.
Well, it seemed to work out for you. You were very, very quick coming through that second section of the race. You managed to make the undercut work quite well, but Florence Arabia caught back up to you towards the end of that race. And how was it battling with him? Did you want to let him by, or was that something that you were hoping to hold off until the final couple of laps?
No, I managed to jump him at the pits. I probably had about a 1.5 second gap. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out because there was a car in between us, so he managed to pull back pretty quickly. And then once he's in the tow, there's no dropping Florence. So it was clear to me he was going down to the line, as long as we both stayed on the track, which we both did, thankfully. It's always nice battling him. He's real fair and real quick. So I didn't mind letting him pass, to be honest. There's a few laps to go, so just see how things went. And as it worked out, I got on top this today.
Absolutely. And when he went by, what was your strategy on trying to pass him back? Were you going to wait for that last lap attempt out of Zhenkao, or did you want to try and get him into turn one like you attempted?
Anywhere really.
Absolutely. Well, Simon, I mean, another fantastic finish for you today, coming home with the win off of your pole position. Next time we head to Mid-Ohio, quite a different track, quite a different feel. What are your thoughts heading into that round?
Yeah, it should be a good track for this car. This was pretty much a draft fest, foot to the floor, but Mid-Ohio's got some tricky sections, so it should be a lot of fun.
Well, Simon, fantastic win yet again, and good pad to your championship hopes for sure. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go today?
Yeah, thanks for the turnout. Everyone who turned out today, I think there was near 130 cars, which is really, really good to see. try and get this series up and running and keep going into next season. It's a fun car to drive. So if anyone's watching and think they want to have a go, join in. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, just an FYI, we only covered about half the battles that were going on track. There was a lot of great action out there. So thanks for talking to us, Simon. And we look forward to seeing you next week in Mid-Ohio.
Cheers, guys.
That was Simon Meyer, who finished in first position. And it looks like Rob has caught up with Forens Arabian, who's going to talk to us from second.
Indeed. Forens, how are things? My main man, unfortunately, 600ths of a second separating you and Simon Meyer at the start, finish straight. How close was it out there on that last few laps?
Well, very close, but it was better than I expected because the last few races, my pit crew really were terrible and I had to fire them. So this time around, I was able to get a good pit in. Jim scared me a little bit by bumping me into the entry. I didn't overspeed, luckily. But everything turned out well, and I really didn't know what to do. He let me by, and all was going to fall into the last corner.
Yeah, take it that you kind of were not expecting. You were kind of hoping that you could have the slipstream all the way through, and then keep it in your hands, the cards in your hands when it came around to the last corner. But then you see, Simon sort of let you by, and it all goes to pot. Then, doesn't it?
Not exactly. I was trying different lines to see if I could get a slipstream after he passed me, but it seems like the finish line ends a little earlier than expected, so that didn't turn out. Maybe if I had kept the shortest lane, it would have been different, but it was a great race nonetheless.
And at the very least, you can now, see that it's not going to be smooth sailing, and you have something to focus on. What's the main thing you're going to be focusing on these last few races?
I mean, pit stops. That screwed me over. Not filling up the tank before starting a race, putting the tires on mid-race, not filling up enough. That's been my whole season. So the driving's there. I just need that consistency when it comes to the strategy calls.
Of course. And before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs or any thanks you'd like to give?
Thank you for broadcasting and all the racers. I mean, if you guys didn't show up, we wouldn't have a race. So thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Forens. We've been looking forward to seeing you next week in Mid-Ohio. But until then, take care and have a great rest of your weekend, my dude. And that was Forens Arabian interviewing with us here on GSRC. And back to you, Adam.
Absolutely. Next up, we're going to talk to third place Rocco Horvath, who came home just about 7 seconds off of the lead. And just a great drive from him for sure. And Rocco, just about 7 seconds off of the lead, but just ahead of Jim Brewster. How was that battle with Jim through the latter half of that race, especially coming off of the final corner?
Yeah, no, it was all right. I was trying to figure out kind of how I wanted to play it. I was trying to lead for a little bit because I thought maybe Simon and Forens would battle, kind of lose some time, and then maybe me and Jim could catch back up, kind of go for the win. But Jim wanted to battle a little bit, so I was just like, all right, I'm just going to let you by and see kind of where the best place will be like for me to make the pass, probably on the last lap. And it became pretty obvious to me that I would be able to get him coming out of the last turn, like to the line. So that I was just kind of just waiting until the last lap. It was kind of a boring last 3 or 4 laps for me, but yeah, and ended up getting him at the line, so it worked out.
Well, up to that point, we hadn't seen anyone be able to make a pass off of Zhenkao to pass the person before they reach the start-finish line. Now, obviously, pass them into turn 1, yes, but what was it that led you to have that confidence coming off of Zhenkao in the final corner on the final lap?
Well, I did a couple little test runs, like with like 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go. I was just trying it, and then before like the start finish, I'd kind of just let off. Just I was trying to give him a little bit of like false sense of confidence to like so that he thought that I couldn't get him to the line. But yeah, no, I tried it a couple times, and it seemed like it was gonna work. So yeah, I think maybe I think we both use auto blip, whereas maybe some other guys don't use auto blip, which I know makes a difference. It's a little bit slower to use auto blip, so I don't know if just by doing that it kind of slows him up as the lead car a little bit more. I don't know. That'd be my guess.
Definitely interesting observation there about auto blip. Definitely something I've noticed in some of the slower cars on the service as well. But next week we head to Mid-Ohio. As I said to Simon, a very different track. What are your thoughts heading into that round?
That should be pretty fun for these cars. I've actually raced there in real life, and it's a great track. So yeah, we'll see. There might be some chance to break the draft there in like the twisty section. So that'll be cool. Looking forward to it.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Rocco. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Shout out to my wife for letting me race on a Saturday afternoon, and thanks for you guys for broadcasting and doing the interviews and stuff. And just thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Rocco. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks.
That was Rocco Horvath, who finished in 3rd place, and it looks like Rocco has caught up with Michael Johnson, who unfortunately did not finish today, but still here to talk to us.
Michael, pleasure talking to you again. Unfortunately, the wheels figuratively and literally came off the car. Talk us through the race before that, though. You were definitely pushing away through the field, and it looks like you were having plenty of action out there.
Oh, I was having a lot of fun. I mean, these guys are a fantastic group to race with. I thoroughly enjoyed every second out there. Even when I speared into Niels, that was just a really unfortunate thing on his part. I'm coming around the corner. I've got Thor on the inside, trying to figure out what's going to happen here. And then I noticed Niels was too deep in when he made his turn in, and that rear end came around. Well, whoops, what's going to happen now? I turned my head, looked for Thor, couldn't see him. So he's in my blind spot somewhere. And then at that last little second, Niels caught a little bit of grip and just boop, right back onto the track. And well, the rest was a big pile of parts.
Exactly. Yeah. And as we saw, it was now Adam had said it was target fixation. You disagree with that and said it was just how things took place on the track. But apart from that, you definitely were pushing it through, especially given the fact that you were in the group of Batley, Gradwell, Coppage, and Dolo. You were definitely pushing through them and making places and taking names. What was the biggest overtaking place for you on the track anyway?
Well, so there were a couple. Turn 1 is a great spot to get, and I think also going into 4, I was just getting a brilliant run through the Senna S and was able to come down, and I think I made 4 or 5 passes through the race coming into there, and then I had I was doing something I couldn't tell if anybody else was doing. It didn't look like they were doing, where I would come up into Little Pine Tree, and I was downshifting to 3rd to go into the Horseshoe, into Ferradura. So I was in 3rd, the 2 corners before Ferradura, which allowed me to open up a little bit of a gap or to take on somebody. And I think I got maybe 1 or 2 passes there. But after my terrible qualifying, I had to figure something out, and that seemed to be working pretty well for me.
And the one question to do, actually, now that you mentioned good passes into 1 and into 4, if you were to go wide in 1, would that actually affect you all the way down into 4? Because we were noticing that a few drivers, they had gone very wide and very slow into 1. Does that affect you all the way down towards 4? Having that slow speed?
Yeah, big time. I was able to get back. I can't remember if it was Coppage or Gradwell. One of them got a little bit wide on 1 because I had the outside, and I backed out to tuck in behind them to do an over-under, and I was able to make the pass going down the straightaway. So, that little bit off, if you miss turn 1 just a tiny bit, you have to make a tiny bit of a lift to go through 2, and then you can just mat it to go through 3, but you're already off speed, and losing even a half a mile per hour in these cars is just absolutely detrimental. So when he went up under me, made a beautiful run coming out of the back straight, or the front straight, or the straight, and he got up beside me. I just tucked in and was able to go back around him pretty easily. And I think we all kind of knew there wasn't much to do in that. It's best to just stick behind, which Flavio and I actually learned very early on. When I got up to where Flavio was, we were talking. It was like, okay, tuck in my draft, buddy. Let's go. Come on. And hey, you take this corner, I'll take the next one. And we were working together very well through that, trying to figure out where the best spots to pass were. And that helped a lot too, where all the work I did with Flavio through that.
Absolutely, yeah. And, it goes back to the adage of practice makes perfect. So you'll be definitely hopefully having practice in for Mid-Ohio. Before we let you go, though, Michael, is there any shout-outs or any things you'd like to give for today?
Oh, big shout out to this league. Whichever side of the broadcast booth I happen to be sitting on, this is a fantastic league to work with. I love sitting in your seat. I love racing. And even just watching these guys, I have such a blast. And it was actually broadcasting this group with GSRC that got me interested in racing with them. So I chatted a little bit with the Grand Poobah and said, yeah, I think I'm going to go race with these guys if you don't need me to broadcast. And he was like, yeah, that's great. So went in and started playing with these guys and have had an absolute blast. They're fantastic racers.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Michael Johnson. Hope to see you at Mid-Ohio. And that was Michael Johnson interviewing for us here at GSRC. Back to you, Adam.
Absolutely, and that's actually going to close us out for today. We want to give a big thank you to 42 Stitches for sponsoring this race. Check them out at 42stitches.com and let them put together a package especially for you. We also want to give a thank you to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast that are going to be listed here on your screen shortly. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. She just had a single release recently as well, so go check that one out at her Bandcamp. Thanks to the team today, Rob, Gary, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media listed on the screen. Also, please check out our merchandise store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. We keep a link in the description below. Those t-shirts are pretty awesome. I love mine. I completely wore it through. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Also, for the next race for these drivers, that is Mid-Ohio. That's going to be Saturday, November 27th at 3 p.m. Eastern for these drivers. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so go check them out and mark them down on your calendar. But if you're not done with the racing action quite yet, going on right now with about 2 hours to go, so about halfway through, is the Major Series MTech 4 Hours of Coda. That's on GSRC live right now, so go ahead and head to our YouTube page and check out that race that's ongoing at the moment. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.